Rebecca Gordon.
I'm Sylvia Gordon.
And on this edition, we're going to help explain the confusing nature of understanding all the Blue Cross companies in your states so that you don't look like an idiot when you're trying to pick the right one. Stay tuned.
So Blue Cross and Blue Shield is actually 35 different Medicare companies across the country. 1 in 3 Americans has a Blue Cross plan, and agents and consumers tend to think it's one big company.
Yes.
It's not. And so when you're expanding into other states and you're on our quota and you're talking to a client in that state,
and you come across, we will say, Independence Blue Cross in the great state of Pennsylvania.
and you call it Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and they're like, no, it's just Blue Cross. And you're like, no, well, you know, what? No, it's not whatever.
It's a different company.
It's a completely different company. You can buy just the Blue Cross license, you could buy just the Blue Shield, or you could buy both. So how many states have multiple Blue licenses in one state?
7.
So can you name some of those states?
I sure can. California.
So California has a Blue Cross and a Blue Shield.
Idaho, Washington.
Idaho, Blue Cross and a Blue Shield.
You have Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania has 4 different ones.
New
Pennsylvania
York.
has Capital Blue Cross, Highmark Blue Shield, Highmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and Independence Blue Cross. New York, Empire, Anthem. It's craziness. And so if you work in that state, you're like, whatever, I grew up here. I know that.
I have the contract.
I know that. But if you're expanding into a new state, or like you're a call center and you're now trying to work in a bunch of states, you need to listen to this. There's 35 different companies. They are not related. They are separate companies. They're competitors.
And it gets really confusing when you see, so Anthem, for example, Anthem has 14 core states, but if they want to expand into other states, they have to go in through a different name like AmeriGroup.
Or Simply.
Simply. And when you go on the quote engine, again, like you see these other names and people are telling you it's a Blue Cross, and it gets very, very, very dicey. So if you've been confused, you're not alone.
You are not alone, and I was humiliated the first time I had, multiple licenses, and I started selling across state lines remotely, and I was talking to somebody in California, and I just looked like an idiot.
Oh my God.
So I could
Because you have
not
Blue Shield.
understand. Yes, and I didn't have those contracts, so I was like totally embarrassed. And I know a lot of agents have to probably go through this same thing where you're like, I blew that lead. On our quote engine, we have a lot of companies. You might not have a license with those companies. We might not have a license with some of those companies, sometimes because they don't work with uplines, sometimes because they don't want the carrier. But we put them on there so that when you're quoting, you can see the competition.
Right.
Okay? So there are some independent Blue Crosses, and a lot of those Blue Crosses only contract agents directly. There's no upline, no GA, MGA, FMO. So if you see it on there, it's because we just wanted you guys to have the data to be able to compare it. It's boring, but it's hard to know. Why don't you talk about AARP?
So AARP is the only carrier that will allow you to move plan to plan
On the Med Supp.
on the Med Supp every month, no underwriting. Except
You can't go to G.
you can't go to G.
So if you have somebody that's eligible for F, they can move back up to F. They are coming out with D. There's several states that already have D. Of course, AARP does have some select plans. They have some high deductible plans, and they are the only one that allows you to move around without that underwriting and keep the original agent of record. They also have a dental discount plan.
Yep.
And nobody on the Med Supp side has that extra dental discount, and they have it in all states. So that's a big plus for those of you that sell Medicare supplements. So a lot of people, where's your little article? Filing taxes. A lot of people are like, you know what? My husband makes a lot of money. I only made 30 grand. I don't want to get hit with IRMA. So I'm not going to file taxes jointly. You can file married, filed separately. That way I stand alone and I won't get IRMA. Cool, right? And it's like, yeah, you won't get IRMA, but you're going to win the battle, lose the war.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's not a good idea. That's the summary. If you want the article, we can send you a good article source background on it. But you lose other deductions that are it's going to outweigh the benefit of not having the IRMA for 1 year. So that's my short and sweet, painful,
There are no
don't
shortcuts.
think you're beating the IRMA, okay?
You're not going to beat the system.
If you do have questions about IRMA or questions about that article, ask us in the comments. And Kim, my assistant, can send you this article or any other of the white papers that we have written. We do have a blog on our website if you need more content for your website. And that is something that we're doing a lot of, is we're co-authoring articles so you guys have articles to put on your website. So thank you for tuning in.
Good selling.